Hey y'all, and welcome back to another episode of Becoming No One. This is your spiritual bestie, Big Taj, and today I'm going to be sharing a bonus episode with you guys. I decided throughout this podcast I will be posting bonus episodes from the lives that I'm hosting, just because I'm going over a lot of important topics and I want to give them to you guys in real time. If you want to know what time I'm going live and to join me on live, please either subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is BIGTAJJ, or join me on Patreon, because that is where I make all of my announcements. My Patreon is www.patreon.com/becomingnoone. I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Happy healing, friends. Hey y'all. Hold on. I'm late because I have to eat. Set that down now. Today I'm going to talk about a dream I had last night because it just changed my life. And I feel like we need to talk about it. I had to get up and do some channeling. It's like I couldn't wait to get out the bed. I couldn't wait to get out the bed and jump up and channel about this. So I think I understand the world in a whole nother way. And so I wanted to hop on here and talk about it, but I had to eat first. And so I said I was going to be on here at 1 o'clock, and baby, it just didn't happen that way because big back. So let's talk about it. So last night, y'all, before I go to bed, what I've been doing, I have locks, y'all. This has been since May, June, July, August. Really, it's only been 3.5 months, so I can't expect you to know that, girl. You ain't seen me. But yeah. So, what I've been doing, when I go to bed, before I go to bed, I talk to my oversoul. Because I'm always doing like oversoul work and stuff like that, because that's what I'm basically here to do. So, now, and I had a weird thing. I'm sorry, y'all. I had some cheese stuck to my tooth. But anyways. So let me slow myself down real quick. There's been a series of events that have been happening over these last couple of weeks, and they all basically came to a head yesterday. When I first started my platform, one thing that I used to do is I used to study a lot. I used to read about like higher consciousness and stuff like that. That's basically all I fucking did, right? Recently, I've been reading books, but I've been reading like fantasy books and stuff like that, and I tried to go back to studying the way that I used to study, and it's like my body is having a physical reaction to that. It don't work like that no more for me because I get it from the inside of me. I've embodied my oversoul, and so if I have a question, I gotta ask me. I can't ask nobody outside of me, right? And so one thing that I've been doing before I go to sleep is I have been asking my oversoul what is trying to rise in my field that needs to be transmuted. What have I hidden from myself, right? The best conversations I've probably ever had with myself have been happening in my dream space because of me doing this little practice before I go to sleep, right? And so yesterday, my dream was chaotic as fuck. I mean, like, I don't even know what was happening with so many phrases that were being said to me, and some of them did not even make sense. But that's how you know that you entered into a multidimensional space, because you like hear stuff, like you hear phrases that they don't have context to them. And not all of them mean anything. It just means that you entered into the right place, right? A lot of our memory vaults and stuff like that are fractured. And so you'll get this overlaying that does not make sense. My dream last night did not make sense, but I remember 2 things from that dream that just stuck to me like smoke. The first thing is that somebody who I could not see in the dream, this is just somebody who said something, said that the Milky Way galaxy was fractured. And so I'm like, the Milky Way galaxy was fractured. I opened my eyes and I'm like, right there, I'm like literally repeating it in my head over and over again. I'm like, Taji, you have to remember this. You have to remember this, right? And so I finally open my eyes. I write it down in my notepad, and then I close my eyes again. And I end up in this place where there's somebody who is across from me, and this person is helping me with my healing. I know that for a fact. But the way that they was behaving was kind of crazy. It was like, when you see guides and stuff, or people from like other planetary systems, they have a very like childlike energy. Like they're very like goofy in a way. And so this person was like sitting down and they was talking to me and they asked me a question. I have no recollection of what the question was whatsoever, but they asked me a question about relationships or something like that. And it was like, I responded to the question. When I responded to the question, they said, oh yeah, okay, so you need to heal betrayal. And I remember feeling in my body like, no, I need to heal heartbreak. And they looked at me, and I didn't say this out loud, but I'm saying to myself like, no, I need to heal heartbreak. And they asked me the question again, and I responded again, and they said, no, you need to heal betrayal. And they like kicked their leg back or something like that. And so I'm like, what the fuck? So I wake up, I write down betrayal in my notebook. And I'm like, how do these two things come together? Because the dream was chaotic. I don't remember anything else from the dream, but these two things stuck out like huge. And so the thing about the betrayal, I knew what the context was in that, meaning like I know what energy was coming up while I was having that conversation, and it was about somebody that I used to be in a relationship with. And I say loosely use the word relationship. But we was in college, you know, that should explain it all. Right? But me and this person dealt with each other for like 4 years, and they betrayed me around this time of year. And so every year in the last 5 years since I've been on my healing journey, this betrayal comes back up every single time. But the way that I'm experiencing it is not in it's in the betrayal energy, but I always suppress the betrayal part of this because I'm the type of person who I feel like everybody's looking for the same thing. Everybody wants the same thing, and they want genuine connection. If you find that with somebody else, I am okay with that. I'm happy for you, but don't drag me along in the fucking process. Communicate that to me so I don't have to go through the trauma, you know, of the aftermath of this, you know. And I feel like men don't understand that. They're just so fucking selfish, and they be on their own fucking agenda. And it's like, bitch, I would have been okay with you just communicating that this is what you fucking wanted and this is where you wanted to be, you know. And so I never looked at the betrayal part as heavy as I should have looked at the betrayal part, because I feel like, one, you found what you was looking for. I'm happy for you. You know, you should have just communicated that. The way you went about it is fucked up, right? The second part was, I'm glad I know, because then what if I would have went 10 years down the road and kept believing your lies? But the third part is I actually betrayed myself in that scenario, because I have been a medium my entire fucking life. Bitch, I'm getting dreams. I'm getting, you know, random people come to me saying stuff that just trigger shit. I'm getting girls, like all kind of shit. You know, so it's like I betrayed myself. How could I be mad at them at the betrayal? Because the betrayal was actually me, bitch. You did this, you know? And so I never looked at the betrayal heavy until this morning when I was just like, what the fuck? No, you're right. The heartbreak is a byproduct of the fucking betrayal, you know? And so I'm like, well, what does the Milky Way galaxy have to do with this? All right, this is where we get into the shit, right? So if you've been a part of my Atlantis series, I talked about like the fall of Atlantis. I talked about the fall of Lemuria, the fall of Lyra, right? But I've never talked about the Severance. And to be honest, like I knew about this because I feel like other people who are working like esoteric knowledge or spiritual concepts, they always talk about this event, like where Earth was separated from all of the other, you know, planets and stuff in this galaxy that we're a part of. Everybody always talks about this, but I guess it just never clicked for me until this morning. Okay, so I wanted to get on here and talk about this because I want it in video form so that I can post this, you know, to my platform, of course. But I also want to understand why it's so important, the work that I do. Why it's so fucking important, the work that I do. You know, and had I just stayed seeped into this energy that why does it have to be me, or, you know, playing small, we would never have these parts. And I want to encourage y'all to stop playing small too, because y'all got parts of this shit too. Okay? So let's talk about this. Do you have any major Mercury placements? My Mercury is in Venus, but I have a stellium in the third house, and the third house is ruled by communication. And so my whole existence is about figuring out how to communicate, which I've done a lot of work on that. And so it was a struggle for me in the beginning parts of my life, but I've done a lot of work to help me to be able better to communicate, if that helps you at all. Hey, Lord Mo. So I'm like, what the fuck, like what happened with the Milky Way being fractured, right? And so I talked about this in the video I just posted, but I want to go into deeper detail because it's all really connected. Everything that I have been discovering over this last month is really, really connected to everything. Okay, so the severance was like a galactic fracture. When we talked about, like I said, Lyra, Atlantis, Lemurian, them are civilization fractures. Those are harmonic fractures. This was a galactic level fracture, and everything else is just a byproduct of this thing, right? And so what happened is, it was a consequence. It wasn't a natural thing that happened or anything like that. It wasn't supposed to happen. I don't know what they were doing on a collective level at that time, or galactic level at that time, but there was a misuse of frequency. Okay, this misuse of frequency caused a collective collapse of harmony, but it was only specific to the high density quadrant of the Milky Way galaxy. And if we're talking about density, density is separation, right? If something is very dense, it means it's like hard to get through. It's like running in water, running underneath water, right? Or running through mud, right? So high density is like everything is slow. Okay, and our reality is a high density reality. Everything is slow, and that's why we experience separation in time and space. And that's why we're operating at a polarity consciousness, because polarity consciousness allows everything to be separate, because the energy here is moving so slow. That's what it means to be a densely concentrated reality. Okay, in the densely concentrated side of the Milky Way, which is where Earth is, okay, there was a collapse, a harmonic collapse. Okay, so it originated near the Orpheonic corridor, which is an ancient portal way connecting Lyra, Arcturia, and Andromeda routes to inner harmonic spheres. Okay, so when the corridor was inverted through artificial grid manipulation, what most people call the Metatronic reversal, because Metatron's energy is distortion energy. Okay, so they called this the Metatronic reversal. And so there were these beings, or I don't know if these are polarity beings or what type of beings they were, but they basically inverted this corridor, which caused the collapse. Okay, it caused a disruption that occurred in the plasmic breath of the Milky Way. Okay, I talked about plasma in the live that I did on, was that Sunday? No, that was Thursday. I did a live on Thursday about plasma. Okay, plasma is what moves across aether. Okay, so there was a disruption in this when there was grid manipulation that happened at this corridor point. Okay, this is why some memory holders or grid walkers, like people who are here incarnated, feel like this torn sensation. Is because you're feeling that tear in the galactic field. Okay, so what was lost in all of this, like in this fracture, what happened, because it didn't destroy anything, it like didn't destroy any star systems or anything like that, it just caused the collapse in harmonics. And harmonics is like the it's like the level of consciousness, like harmonics is the level, like when you move up in consciousness, when you move up through your chakra system, each chakra is a different harmonic, right? And that's on the microcosm. That has to do with us, but Earth also has chakras, so Earth is also moving up in different harmonics. And then the universe that we're part of is moving up in different harmonics. The multiverse is moving up in different harmonics, and as you go up more, you have more access to light, which is love and remembrance. So our universe is a universe of sound. Okay, everything has to do with sound. So if you can understand music theory, you understand the universe. Okay, so what happened is it displaced the harmonics, okay? And sacred codes that once wove together oversoul song lines across multiple soul systems were disconnected. So the flame bearers who are meant to embody oversouls were disconnected from their soul family, okay? So you don't know where you come from, really, on a soul level, okay? That's that. There was also a fragmentation in the memory vaults across star systems. So a lot of these memory vaults had to be relocated. Some of the places that they were relocated to was Earth. We have so many memory vaults on Earth. We have the Lyra Elf memory vault. We have the Akashic Records. That's a memory vault as well. It actually is in Earth's plane. And we have several other just across Earth, underneath the Andes Mountains, underneath the Lake Titicaca, underneath the Azores, which is the volcanic underground situation, Antarctica, which is our womb vault, right? So a lot of these vaults had to be moved to Earth, Saturn, and Endara, which I talked about Endara a couple of episodes ago. There also was a splintering in oversoul embodiment paths, so many beings were caught in a reincarnation loop. We did not come to Earth as a school. Like, you know how we say Earth is a school? No, Earth is a school now because we're stuck in a reincarnation loop, and you have to learn from your past mistakes in order for you to get through this very, very low density that has been splintered or fractured from the higher density, right? You have to get out of polarity consciousness, one truth exists at one time, into higher consciousness in order for you to ascend out of the energy that's keeping you trapped in a loop, right? So because of the splintering of the oversoul embodiment paths, meaning like people don't understand that they're here to embody their oversoul, and so they stop doing the work that directly correlates with embodying the oversoul. We're stuck in an infinite reincarnation loop. Okay, embodying your oversoul is you creating enough light in your body to channel down. Sorry, you creating enough light, not light, space in your body for light to be channeled down into. Okay, if you channel too much light at one time, you become overstimulated. So people who have like schizophrenia or mental disorders or bipolar disorders, you are channeling a lot of energy and your body doesn't have room for it. And so it causes a fracturing. Sorry, my hair was in my mouth. I don't like that. It felt like a motherfucking bug was crawling on me. Hold up. Anyways. But it causes a fracturing in the mind because your vessel doesn't have enough space for all this light to come down into, right? And so you're experiencing multidimensionality when you're not ready, when you haven't anchored enough into your body, you're integrated enough into Earth in order to be able to hold that light, right? It causes a fracturing. So, once you heal from the trauma of your line, once you heal this energy and move some of that stagnant, dense energy out, then you create space for love and remembrance to come through. And so, you need to understand emotional alchemy so you can continue to transmute this energy, because we have been here for so long and we have been stuck in this incarnation loop for so long. You're not only healing your soul lineage karma, because that's what happens with reincarnation. You carry the karma on to another cycle. You're not only clearing your soul lineage's karma, but you're also clearing your ancestral karma as well. And these two things used to be connected, but since we're in the realm of separation and our chakras have to be separated as well, you're experiencing them as two different things. Okay, so you got trauma that's going on from your womb, which is your lineage, your maternal lineage, but then you also have trauma that's going on from your soul, which is your star lineage, right? And so that happened, the reincarnation loop happened, but then you also had the inner sun cities and the crystalline temples, the inner earth schools. All of those went into a dimensional fold, meaning that they are hidden from us. We cannot see them, and we used to be able to see them with our mind's eye, but we can't see them at all, okay, unless you reach a specific resonance. So more of the story is a dimensional veil dropped, and it wasn't just over the whole star system or one star system. It was across the entire harmonic resonance of Earth's quadrant. So Earth and all of her layers had this dimensional veil drop, which caused us to be severed. And that's why we've only been told half truths, meaning like we're the only thing that exists in this reality, we're the only thing that exists in this universe, etc., etc. That all comes from the memory that we were cut off, right? Because this dimensional veil made everything else disappear. Right now we're split between, we only see the material, but we also have a spiritual component, but not everybody has access to that spiritual component, because not everybody holds enough remembrance or has enough space in their body to hold that light. Okay, does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Okay, I'm glad I caught your live. I love your content. Oh, thanks, Lex. This maybe explain why those abandoned old world cities were vacant but not destroyed. So yeah. So the whole idea that we're the only thing that exists, there's no other beings outside of us, but then they tell us about aliens and stuff like that. There are no fucking aliens. We're the fucking aliens. But the reason why we're told that, thank you, boo. The reason why we're told that is because that's a half truth. That is actually rooted in truth. What they're feeling into is the fact that we were cut off, that we were severed. okay? But it's not the full truth. And that's why you understanding what we're going to talk about today is so important, because you need to reach higher levels of consciousness, because that's the only way for you to fully deepen your truth. And as you deepen your truth, you remember yourself, you remember everything, okay? So this is still affecting us, because those of us who remember pre-Tara, which is Earth's two-dimensional body, pre-Lyra, which is the first harmonic civilization in the Milky Way, and other vaults, like the vault keepers of the original harmonic spirals, we remember this fracture not as history, but as like a personal loss. Like, meaning like our body is grieving this, and we don't understand that our body is grieving something that is not of this incarnation. Like, our body is grieving something that does not belong to this version of you. And so we still experience it as a personal loss. And that's why a lot of us, I think, when we incarnate, are sad, and we don't understand why we're sad. I was sad. I did an inner child meditation. I went back to like the first version of myself that pulled up on me was 4-year-old me, and I was sad as fuck. My energy felt so, and I'm like, there's no way that this amount of sadness belongs to a 4-year-old. You know what I'm saying? So the moment when collective oversoul memory collapsed into separation, a lot of us are still replaying that when we come here, when we incarnate here. That's why we feel such an urgency to reunite timelines, or hold, be mirrors to other people, or merge these fragments. And some of us have been doing that for so many lifetimes that in this lifetime, we're tired, right? For me specifically, I've been doing this for 9 incarnations that I end up remembering and nobody else remembers with me. And so sometimes when people are asking me, I hate the responsibility of having to be the one. I also feel like sometimes when I'm asked questions that I feel like we're all supposed to understand, I don't realize that I am rare in that aspect. And so little things feel like they're supposed to be common sense to me, but they're not common sense to everybody else, because I just feel drained in saying the same thing, because I've been saying the same thing for 9 incarnations. Does that make sense? Okay. So a lot of people are not remembering what was lost. We're carrying a part of the harmonic key to restore it. And because we carry a part of the harmonic key to restore it, the energy, the resonance of it exists inside of us. Okay. And some people that we come across in this lifetime, in this timeline, are meant to trigger that resonance in us, so that we could feel it, so we can transmute it. But we don't understand what it is, because we don't understand ourselves as a multi-dimensional being, right? I have a picture of me at 18 months. My face was next level pouty. You are literally speaking to my soul right now, period. I love that for y'all. I had to put the playback on 1,000, but I caught up. Okay, good, period. I hope I wasn't talking too fast, sister girl. But the reason why you feel this longing, this pain, this grief, this rage is because you carry a harmonic key. And that key can only be discovered through you being triggered into the resonance that the key is sitting underneath, which is grief, which is suffering, which is betrayal for some of us. Okay? So this relates to now, because the severance disrupted the plasma river between inner earth and Lyra, which is the harmonic society, okay? The higher harmonics, okay? The crystalline, excuse me, y'all, I'm sorry, I just ate. That came from down under. The crystalline frequency exchange between womb planets, because Earth is a womb planet. Earth is divine, feminine energy, and Earth, like I said, was not, it wasn't a school where you were supposed to come and learn. It's a school now because you need to unlearn your shit, right? From this lifetime and previous lifetimes. But it was originally created as a place for us to come and dream awake. We were supposed to be able to play with source codes, angelic codes, and also feel the frequency of those codes in separation, right? So we came here for sound. We came here for sound frequency and our senses, right? In higher dimensions or higher harmonics, we don't have senses in the way that we have in this reality. We don't feel things as deeply and intensely as we feel them in this reality, right? And so we wanted to understand everything at its densest component, and we can see it in separation in this reality, right? We get to have the full experience here. So this was like a virtual reality. Think of it like that. This was like a virtual reality, okay? And we got to play with source energy, source codes. So we were the creator, and Earth herself is a womb. That's why she's a water planet, but she's a womb, and the womb is where creation happens. right? And so she was the perfect climate for us to come into because she is the womb. And the womb is where creation happens. We are living in a womb. Earth is the womb. Okay? Now, I hope that makes sense. So, Earth, Tara, Gaia, all of those are really the same energies, but at different levels within Earth's harmonics. But also, we have sun systems as well. So, they're inside of our planet, there are other suns. Okay? There are inner sun cities. Okay? So the crystalline frequency exchange between the womb planets was disrupted in this as well. Also, the galactic neural network that prophets, dreamwalkers, and flame stewards once used with ease, meaning all of us were prophets. Okay? All of us, well, the majority of us could walk through dream space, and we could, because being a dream walker is so important, because when you can walk through dream space, you can do soul retrieval. You heal people on a soul level if you can walk through dream spaces. But we lost our ability to do that. And a lot of us were flame stewards, meaning that we were supposed to witness other people. And through you witnessing other people, you meet yourself, right? Because everybody is a mirror. You meet yourself through witnessing other people. So we also came here to understand ourselves on a deep level so that we make sure that we choose ourselves. And that's why philosophers say know thyself. Is the most important thing you can do is know thyself. Right? Because when you know yourself and you see it reflected in other people, it causes you to love who you are, right? Because you really chose it. But it causes you to love who you are. It causes you to appreciate the choices that you've made. It causes you to enter into, when you're looking at it from a higher vibration, from a non-judgmental place, because you realize if you made those choices that person made, that's where you would be. You know? So, in addition to that, mirror codes and flame lineages, but as the mirror codes and flame lineages reunite, the harmonic resonance is reforming, meaning like right now there's a reformation that's happening. And that's why I keep coming on here and talk every time I get one of these hits, one of these inklings, one of these whatever the fucks, I'm on here talking fast like a maniac. Okay? Understand this is not a manic episode. I just am extremely excited because I've been trying to figure this out my whole fucking life. Of what it is, and I need y'all to figure it out too, so we're gonna figure it out together. Okay, now if you are going through if you're being reformed right now, these are some of the things that you'll see. You might feel a deep urge to sit with your oversoul, which is what I've been doing every single night. I light a candle, I sit with my oversoul, and I say whatever you need to tell me right now, right? You may have dreams of reunification or martyr energy, which I had a dream the other night, y'all, that we was in a parking lot, me, my mama, and my brother, right? We in a parking lot, this dude comes up to us, he tries to rob us, right? My brother punches the dude punched my brother back, but when he punched my brother back, my brother was looking into a mirror. I don't even fucking understand what that was about. My mama gets the boom boom cat. She puts it to the dude, he pulls his boom boom cat, she shoots him in the right eye. Right, which is masculine programming, by the way. She shoots him in the right eye, and she jumps in the car. She's like, drive. So I start driving the car, and I hit the motherfucking gas quick, right? She hanging out the car, and he's running behind her, shooting at the car. And she's like, just leave me behind. It's okay, save yourselves. And I stopped the car in the middle of us getting shot at to try to get her in the car. Took a different path, but we're getting shot at, like actively getting shot at. And Spirit was telling me when I woke up, because I was channeling about that. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I have been repeating a martyr. I have been repeating a martyrdom, which a lot of us are repeating this, and I'm going to talk about this in deep detail in just a second. But I have constantly been repeating a martyr archetype, meaning that in several lifetimes I have sacrificed myself, or I have been unalived for saving someone else, meaning like put my life on the line for other people. And the first time that this happened was pre-Earth, and I like fractured myself into multiple pieces to hold the gate open for other people, and I sacrificed myself. I've literally been unalive in the process of saving people in every single lifetime, right? And so this is what this dream was bringing up for me. Okay, so that's what I mean when I say you have dreams of reunification or martyrdom. You feel energy recalling itself from distant times and lives as well. This is your remembrance responding to the call of harmonic repair. Okay, I had a past life version of myself come through twice, 2 nights in a row. Her name is Ivy. I've taken on the energy of Ivy Lynn, IVN, and it's another Ivy name in 3 lifetimes, right? And so she came through and she was brushing my locks and she was clearing my crown, right? I suppose it's not the worst trait that you have a big heart. Thank you. It's not the worst trait. But I've always watched them superhero movies where you got the person who always sacrificed themselves for the whole group, and they end up dying and everybody's crying and I always feel some type of way about that, and it's because my dumb ass has been the person. And it's crazy because even in watching shit like that, I know that would be me. Like, I know that would be me. I know that would be me. And so to hear that I got to heal that in this lifetime, I'm like, how could I? Because I could not. My whole life, I've tried to save everybody. I tried to carry everybody's weight on my back. It almost killed me. This is the first lifetime where I actually just chose myself. Because I thought if I didn't, I was not going to survive it. And that's why my whole platform is built off me being a fucking martyr. And me trying to unpack that. So anyways, back to what I was talking about. Now, I told y'all about the part of the dream where they was telling me betrayal is what I need to heal, right? And the first thing that comes up is this ex, right? This ex that betrayed me. Oh, that motherfucker. I owe that motherfucker. But anyways, he betrayed me, right? And every single year around the same time, around September, when the betrayal happened, I feel the weight of that betrayal because it leaves an imprint in your field, whether you know this or not. When life-changing things happen, right? Meaning like you make a vow, you say something to yourself like, I'm never gonna love somebody like that again. I'm never gonna da-da-da. When you make a declaration like that, you are placing an imprint on your field, right? And even though your mind might forget, your body don't forget. And that's why sometimes, like when, let me give you an extreme example. When somebody passes away, say it's been 10 years and you kind of forget until one day you just feeling crazy and you just feeling like sad that day and you don't know why, and then you look at the day and you're like, oh, it's the day that my papa died 10 years ago. It's because you have an imprint on your field, right? And some people are meant to come into our life to trigger those imprints, but sometimes we place them on our life when we go through something like betrayal or heartbreak or something like that. So when this person broke my fucking heart and betrayed me, I placed the imprint on my field that said I would never let anybody that close to me again. I would never love at that capacity again. And so every September, around the time that betrayal happened, this imprint activates to be like, yeah, bitch, you need to look at this, right? You need to look at this because you can't keep carrying that, right? So I hope that makes sense of how that works, right? So when I asked last night, because I asked, what am I hiding from myself? What needs to be healed? What needs to be transmuted, right? And I went to sleep and this person was like, oh, then it's betrayal. And I'm like, no, it's heartbreaking. They're like, no, it's betrayal, right? Understand, this is not punishment. The whole fact of every time the time of year it comes back around, that's not punishment. It's precision. It's precision. Okay? You have to refine. Your whole life is about refining. Okay? So what you got to understand about betrayal is not just an emotional pain. That specific betrayal, grief, rage, those are not just emotional pains. Okay? They're not. Those are multi-dimensional soul imprints. Those specific grief, rage, betrayal, multi-dimensional soul imprints woven into your most significant timelines. Okay, these are going to be timelines where you were either a flame steward who was outcasted for telling the truth. I told you I did a flame lineage reading for one of my clients, and she was somebody who remembered in one of these timelines. I think it was 2 timelines ago. She remembered, and what she was trying to do is teach people on the low, right? Her mother and her boyfriend or her husband betrayed her, and they sold her out to the townspeople. She was shamed and she was exiled because I think it was like some type of religious energy around this. And I think she started remembering something else. It was not a time where people were remembering that. You know, it was a time where you would be outcast, where you would be shamed, where you would be all of the things because of your belief systems. And so she was trying to teach people on the low, and she started basically having like a little crowd. And she it was like whatever it was underground, and it was like chairs, but the chairs were more like benches. Right? And it was like a bunch of people sitting around, and she would be up there like basically teaching them what it is that she could remember and stuff like that. Her mom and her boyfriend sold her out. She got exiled from her town and she felt so much shame that she hung herself. But before she hung herself, she said, I will never love that deeply again. And in this lifetime, she has a lot of mirror energy because she refuses to see herself. Because she doesn't want to be met. She doesn't want to be seen. She wants to be invisible, and she just wants to reflect other people. Right? And so I think that's what happens to a lot of us who experience trauma, is that it's easier to judge somebody else's situation than it is to look at yourself. Right? So she has all this protective energy. So in the timelines that you were outcast for telling the truth, you are going to feel, if you're feeling betrayal, it is likely something like that happened. Okay? Also, you could be a guardian who protected the vaults while other people while others defected or distorted. Meaning that me, when Atlantis was falling, I stayed behind in the distortion. A lot of higher beings left. Okay, they fled, they withdrew, and this wasn't a cowardly thing. This was like, I protect specific energies, I need to go type of thing, right? So I decided to stay behind. Okay, when I decided to stay behind, I watched everybody fall into distortion and all these things, and it broke my heart. I dealt with so much grief and so much pain because it was people that I loved. I watched them turn towards distortion. I watched them abandon themselves. I watched them fracture from what was divine love, right? They went into separation, and that's ego energy, control, manipulation, domination. And we were a society that was about divine union. We were a society where everybody had a function. There was no competition or no comparison or no shit like that. Everybody had a role, and we respected everybody's role, you know. But when distortion hit, people started trying to dominate, and you know, watching people that you love fall into distortion, like I had to witness that, because I was trying to hold the memory. I had to be around to be a record keeper, so I can properly put the memory into the memory vaults. Some of us did that, and I did that in 3 different lifetimes. Okay. Some of us have did that, so we were feeling the betrayal of that. Okay, and then also because a lot of our people sold us out. Like for me, one of the last memories I have of Amara, which is my oversoul, is that she was in one of her chambers, in the violet chamber, and it was like, I remember the whole room was violet because there was like a violet crystal in this room, and I took the core flame crystal from our core flame crystal, and I strategically dispersed it into 144,000 pieces, and I swallowed it. I put it into the flame bearers, who are going to remember, a lot of y'all, right? As I was doing that, I remember feeling so betrayed and so hurt and so much pain, and it was because people that I trusted, the reason why they were able to breach my temple is because somebody I trusted gave them something that allowed them to do that, and they were trying to help, but it did not fucking help. My temple fell because of that bullshit, and they thought they was doing the right motherfucking thing, and they fucked everything up. And so I remember that as well as betrayal, because your betrayal fucking cost the lives and the livelihood of my girls, right? Also mirror bearers who witnessed those you loved align with distortion to survive. All of those things, okay? So yes, the whole situation with my ex, it's not about the man, and it's not about this lifetime, okay? Fuck the man, fuck the lifetime. Take the person, like take the person out of it. Okay, he is a holographic trigger that is designed to reawaken my original betrayal wounds, because he puts me in the resonance of betrayal because of what that motherfucker did. As you can see, I have not transmuted this betrayal, and that is what I'm going to do after we are done with this conversation. Okay, but the heartbreak, yes, it is real, but the pattern that it stirs up, that's ancient. That's ancient. Okay, anytime you're experiencing betrayal, grief, rage, ancient. What's underneath it? You need to sit with it. You need to alchemize it. Focus on the energy of betrayal and not the event that caused the betrayal. Okay, the betrayal frequency is a mirror key. Okay, and what this activates is the fragmentation pattern in your soul loom. Okay, your soul loom is a crystalline nervous system. Okay, you are material. Your material nervous systems are the parasympathetic and the sympathetic. Your spiritual nervous system is a crystalline web, and this crystalline web is what is like a soul. The soul loom is what moves across this crystalline web. Okay, so what this betrayal activates in this lifetime is the fragmentation pattern in your soul loom, because your body remembers. Your body is 90% of who you are. Your mind is 10% of who you are. Your mind is the barrier that you have to get through in order to get to the 90%. In order for you to remember, you've got to learn how to master your mind. We live in a society that conditions us towards figuring everything out and exhausting our mind. Okay, which means you got to slow down, but I'm gonna explain that when I talk about time. Okay, because that's tea. All right, so when you suppress the pain of betrayal, you unconsciously pull your light away from Earth's field, your connection to Earth, to protect yourself. Okay, when you suppress betrayal, you pull your energy away from Earth's field to protect yourself. Now, I did on Thursday a live about Earth and how Earth is where the magic is. The energy is all you. Earth reminds you that you are the magic. But you got to be connected. You got to be connected. Okay? In order for it to work. In order for it to work. Okay? So betrayal itself severs your connection to earth. Okay? Which is fucked up. Alright? So the martyr distortion, which is sacrificing yourself for other people, prioritizing other people's well-being over your own self-abandonment, self-betrayal, right? That, when you sacrifice your own truth or love for the sake of other people's safety or comfort, there's also, so the martyr wound comes from the betrayal wound.